Welcome to 30-day yoga challenge and the next video on the series. We'll be discussing about the concept of prayer in yoga. Before you start a yoga class, you might have seen people chanting a small verse and then starting the class. You might wonder, why do you need prayer in the first place? First and foremost, I would like to have one thing clarified. Yoga has got nothing to do with any religion whatsoever. You might wonder that this has got something to do with Hinduism. Absolutely not. When the science of yoga first evolved, we never had any religion in place. We never even had Hinduism nor any other religions of the world. The tag religion came much later. So it's basically a civilization. It's a culture that helped people from all walks of life to come forward. Okay, so coming on to the prayer in yoga. This might take a couple of videos because the topic is a little wide. So I'll start with the letter Om. Om is something that was explained many times in my YouTube channel, but that's okay. This is a 30-day yoga challenge, and it doesn't matter even if the same thing gets repeated over and over again. So usually mantras start with or the verses start with the letter or the syllable or the sound Om. I'll first explain what Om is. As I mentioned in one of the previous videos, you need to have an authentic base to believe something that you don't really know, or you need a pramanam to understand what it means, because it's something that's not perceivable by the senses, nor can you assume it. So the next option is to follow the authentic scriptures. There's one scripture called the Mandukya Upanishad which defines Om. It goes like this. ओमित्येतदक्षरमिदं सर्वं तस्योपव्याख्यानं भूतं भवद्भविष्यदि सर्वमोङ्कार एव यच्छान्यत्र कालातीतं तदप्योङ्कार एव. The meaning goes like this. It's a sound that represents everything that you can find around. Everything of the past, everything of the present, and everything in the future. And anything beyond the three concepts of time is basically Om. Okay, so what? Okay, we'll take a minute to think what it is all about. It's something like a mathematical symbol infinity. It represents everything that you can find around. So what's the benefit of chanting Om? For that to understand, there are so many different methods by which Om or the sound is used in a meditative sense. I'll give you a small idea based on an example by Mandukya Upanishad itself. Mandukya Upanishad is the smallest of the Upanishads. It has got just 12 slokas. So why do I go too deep into philosophy? I'm not planning to go too much into philosophy, nor a lot of Sanskrit text and interpretation of the same. I'm planning to point out a method by which Om, the sound, can be used for meditation. It goes like this. Okay, in Mandukya Upanishad, the methodology used to understand knowledge is giving you the logic for you to think and understand. Say for example, it tells you like this. You've got 4 states of mind. One is your waking state, Jagrata Avastha. Then you've got a dream state. Alright, so what? Then you've got a deep sleep state. Alright, but there's one thing in common to all these 3 stages. That is you, the experiencer. You are awake in the waking state. You, the same experiencer, is experiencing in the dream state. Because you don't dream as a dog or a cat or anything, you dream as yourself. Or in other words, even in your dream, you are still the witness. You are still the experiencer. So you experience the dream. That remains constant. Now moving on to the third phase, deep sleep state. Now you might tell me, oh, come on, in deep sleep state, I don't have a feeling of I. If you didn't have a feeling of I, you wouldn't be telling that I slept peacefully. You know 2 things. You know that you experienced peace. You know that you slept. If you had absolutely no memory of your deep sleep state, it would just be like you're waking, then you're dreaming, again you're waking and you're dreaming. You would have completely forgotten the deep sleep state. That really didn't happen. You have a small memory or the understanding that you were in the deep sleep state. So I told you, according to Mandukya Upanishad, there are 4 states of mind. I told you just 3: the waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. What about the 4th one? It is called Turiya. In other words, it is that same consciousness, the name of the consciousness that's in the waking state, in the dream state, and in the deep sleep state. It's that continuity which goes. And what has that got to do with Om? When you look closely, you understand that Om has four parts, as mentioned in Mandukya Upanishad. I'm just recording what's explained in the textbook. I'm not telling anything from my own imagination. Om has four parts. Om has A, U, and these three sounds combine together to form the concept of Om. And there's one more thing. There's silence. That's the fourth. It's called Agara, Ukara, Makara, and Amatra. Amatra are the silence. When you listen carefully, you'll understand. The A has silence within the sound. Without silence, there's no sound. Then you've got U, which has got silence in between the sound. Then you've got which has got silence. As the silence or the Amatra pervades through Agara, Ukara, and Makara, as the same silence passes through A, U, and in the exact same manner, your witness consciousness passes through the waking state. The waking state goes away and the dream state comes. You, the witness, stays focused on on the dream state. That also passes away. Then you move into deep sleep state. You, the experiencer, it's called Prajnana Kanam, a mass of consciousness, because it's not shining anywhere. You just have a consciousness, that's it, in deep sleep state. The same witness consciousness stays witness to the third state as well. That also passes away. What is it that remains or continues through all these three? It's called Turiya. This is such a small explanation in a nutshell on what Mandukya Upanishad is. You can take this explanation and have pages and pages of information on the subject. But what I wanted to tell you is a simple method to meditate. If you want to chant Om and meditate, think of the A sound, focus on the A and understand the silence in between A. And think about your waking state. In the similar manner, you've got a waking state and the witness consciousness. Think of U, think of the sleep state, your sleep experience, and the silence within it, which represents your waking state. Your understanding of your being. In other words, the witness consciousness. Then you utter the sound and think about your deep sleep experiences and the witness consciousness, and meditate on the witness consciousness. So as you chant Om, think about your waking memory, your dream memory, and your deep sleep memory. Again, I'm telling you, I'm just re-echoing the words those words that are already mentioned in the scriptures. So I take it as a great pleasure in having an opportunity to share this information. So thanks a lot. May all beings be happy.